Hi everyone, welcome to another SmythOS agent building session. I'm Shell, and for today's session, we will build an SEO web researcher that can check keyword for difficulty and, return the top 20 ranking pages for that keyword. Plus, it also finds relevant keywords and related questions, again, to that user provided keyword. Okay, so this is truly helpful if you're working on content strategy and content creation. All right, let's start. So I have here again a blank agent canvas. So today we will be building one endpoint for this task. All right, and then we will be using or doing a couple of API calls. All right, and then we will also be using JSON filter and then our very reliable LLM prompt component as well. Okay. First, let's set up the API the API endpoint here. I'm gonna do a get request here because we're just gonna retrieve the data for a keyword. Okay, we're not gonna manipulate it. We're not gonna do anything with it. So I'm gonna call this one analyze keyword. All right, now I'm not gonna add any instructions for now. I'm just gonna set this one up and add the endpoint name. Then I'm gonna add an input parameter. I'm gonna label this keyword, and then since I'm selecting a get method request here, this would be, we're gonna create a custom output and use query instead of body. Again, it's because we're using get method here. So the input data that we receive through keyword will be mapped to the query default output here. So if we want to extract the value from query, we need to create a custom output that maps the string value from query to this one. Okay, now we have our API endpoint. Let's go to the API call component that we will be using. So as I mentioned earlier, we will be using a couple of API call component here, and we will again be using an API from Rapid API here. I've already shown you guys how to create your API account yesterday, where to get your API key from Rapid API. So this time we're gonna research for an API that does SEO analysis for keywords. Okay, so we will be using this API provider, Ahrefs. Okay, so if you are not familiar with Ahrefs, we can definitely use direct API integration but with Ahrefs, but it requires enterprise plan. So Ahrefs is not a free API if you're gonna use the platform directly. So with this API endpoint, we will be able to use Ahrefs without the need for us to sign up for an Ahrefs plan. Again, just like yesterday, you just have to subscribe to this API provider. Okay, and if you go to their let me check there. Let's check here. They offer like a free plan. I'm not sure where to get there. Okay, they have this basic plan that offers 50 requests per month. It's steep, but again, if you're exploring and you know you don't want to spend much while testing, this is a good starting point. All right. Okay, now going back, I'm gonna set up or configure my API call component here. So I'm gonna close this one and then here. The first one that we're gonna configure is the keyword difficulty checker. So as I've mentioned, this agent should be able to check for keyword difficulty. Okay. Just copy the URL from this client URL. So this is a get request as well, so I'm not changing the method. Now let's as you can see, we have here two query parameters, one for keyword and one for country. So we're gonna create two input parameters here. One is for keyword and the other one is for country. Then we're gonna set the default value for country to US. It depends on you. You can change this later on. Alright, and then we're gonna replace this value with the keyword variable and the country value with the country variable. Then let's save it. Now we need to set up our headers. I've shown you guys what headers to key pair values to add here yesterday. So we're just basically gonna do the same. And if you already have, again, your Rapid API key saved in your Vault, you don't have to copy this anymore. You just make sure that you subscribe using the same account, subscribe to the API provider, and again, it will automatically be bound to your Rapid API account and your key. So you don't have to change this. I'm gonna save this. Then I'm gonna leave this as is. Let's do a quick test. I'm gonna disable country, then I'm gonna say AI agents here. Alright. Okay. So we have our results here. So this is this API call component is properly configured. Now the next API or endpoint that we will use is the Google keyword generator. Okay, so with this endpoint, we will be able to extract the relevant or related keywords, top 20 relevant keywords to the primary keyword, and then the top 20 questions as well related to that keyword. So we're gonna do the same. We're just gonna configure this the way we did with this one. I already have one configured. I'm just gonna copy and paste it here. Alright, so in here. And then for this one, let's do a quick test. And then Okay, we're getting the results here. So this endpoint is properly configured. Again, this one uses the get Google keyword generator. Let's rename this. So we know what it does. And then the other one here, we're gonna call this keyword difficulty checker. Okay, so we can identify them properly. Okay, now I'm gonna connect this to API call component to my output, custom output here. Okay. Alright. Now, what's next is I'm gonna work on this first flow here. I want this LLM prompt to analyze. Okay. Analyze the data that I will get from the keyword checker here. Alright. Or yeah, the keyword API checker here. So I'm gonna stop this. I'm gonna call this data. But let's clean this one up. So earlier we've seen the output. Now I want us to filter out the unnecessary information from the output of this API call component before we move on to the LLM prompt here, the analysis. So I'm gonna create here custom output. Then I'm gonna say surf and then results, and then I'm gonna extract the entire array for the results key property, and then I'm gonna extract the keyword difficulty. So I'm gonna do difficulty here. Okay, so if we're gonna run another test for this one, let's just try and make sure that we're mapping the value to the correct custom outputs. Okay, so now I'm extracting the results array value and then the keyword difficulty. Okay, and now I'm gonna add here an input parameter to extract the difficulty, and then this one is for the keyword. Alright, now I'm gonna connect the results array here to the data, then the difficulty to the difficulty input, and then I'm gonna connect the keyword input to the API endpoint keyword output. Okay, so so when you're building AI agents, it's highly recommended, and I recommend this, that you avoid overlapping lines. It's like when you're diagramming, like you're creating a workflow in a diagram. You don't want these lines as much as possible to be overlapping or intersecting each other, because it really confuses. It could confuse you. You won't have visibility of where it is, connected. It's really difficult. So as much as possible, try to move around your input data in a way that, the lines won't intersect each other. So you can do that by doing this, like this one, avoid this, right? And yeah, just to keep it clean. All right. Now I'm gonna work on my LLM component here. Now what I want this LLM prompt to do is to analyze the data. And then from that data, right, create a list of the top 10 ranking pages, because this API call component provides that information as well. So I'm just gonna select Turbo Latest. It's up to you what model to use, but for this demo, we're gonna use Turbo Latest. If you're using a different model, make sure to make adjustments to your prompt, especially if you're gonna switch to Claude or Gemini, just to make sure that you're gonna get the output that you expect or you need. Okay, now for this one, and then let me just update my maximum output tokens here to 4,000. Okay, now I already created my prompt earlier. The thing with prompt engineering is that it takes a lot of debugging, testing. All right, so if we're gonna test the prompt in this call, it would take us 10 to 30 minutes, depending again on the output that we desire. So I already did my prompt earlier and then tested it. So these are the instructions. I want this LLM prompt to analyze the data and create a list of the top 20 ranking pages for the keyword, the user provided keyword. Then the output must be a JSON object in the format below. It's really important for me because, I want a structured response later on. So I have here the keyword already supplied through this keyword variable, same with difficulty. For the top 10 pages I have here, I've added here an instruction, all right, that this string value should contain the top 10 ranking pages. It must include the title, link to each page, and ranking positions. Then use proper HTML tags. And then my number 3 instruction is it should return the result as is. Now for data, alright, this one, I've added it here. So the data that the LLM prompt will use or will analyze later will be added here. Okay, now I'm gonna save this. And then here's the thing, it will continue to generate this title. So if you wanna overwrite that, just add your own title or LLM prompt label here. Okay, so now I have my my first LLM prompt component here. The first flow is done. I'm gonna move on to my next or second flow here, which is for the Google Keyword Generator. For this one, I will use to JSON filter. Again, there are so many approach. There are other ways for you to do this. This is just my approach. I want, better visibility of the information that I am filtering or I need. So I'm gonna do it this way. You can, of course, apply your own style. Alright. Now, this one, I'm gonna connect this to this JSON filter. So again, what this keyword, this API call provides is a list of relevant keywords and relevant questions or related questions to the keyword that we will supply it. So for this one, I already filtered. Again, I've discussed about JSON filter. We have a couple of, I think, 2 or 3 videos about using the JSON filter or how to deal with JSON objects, filtering and stuff. Just go to our SmythOS 101 playlist on YouTube, so you can check them out. So I've already tested this again earlier, so I'm just gonna add here the fields that I want to extract using this JSON filter. So for this one, I want to extract the keywords. Alright, the related keywords. So I'm gonna rename this. Alright, so the relevant keywords. And then I'm gonna create a custom output here. Again, you can test this later. You can update the output or the workflow based on your needs. Then I'm gonna create another filter here that will also use the same data, but for this one I'm gonna filter the question ideas, so the relevant questions. I'm gonna connect it here. Then I'm gonna replace this with, so alright, now let's debug this JSON filters. I'm gonna extract agents here. Alright, so if you look at the actual response, it provides the list for all ideas are the relevant keywords. Now if you scroll down, so that's the top 20. If you scroll down, you will also get the results for the question ideas. So these are the top 20 relevant questions. Alright, so that's the reason why I want to filter them separately. Of course, you can do it by using custom outputs here, but again, for this demo, I just want to make sure that we are differentiating or we are extracting them properly using JSON filter. Now, let's continue with the testing. Okay, just to make sure that we're extracting, okay, we're extracting the keyword here, the difficulty and the volume label. Then for this one, okay, for this one, we need to update this because we're using all ideas. Alright, as you can see, all ideas, when we should be extracting it from the question idea. So the parent key property is the question ideas, not the all ideas. I'm gonna replace this. Okay, and then test this again. Now we're extracting the value. Alright, so as you can see, these are questions here. Pretty much the same key pair values, but this one for the keyword, it yields questions rather than, you know, the usual key phrase. Okay, now I'm gonna combine all this into LLM prompt. I'm gonna use echo in here. So again, this is for creating the structure and making sure that we are showing the users the information that, you know, we want them to see. So for this one, I'm gonna call this keyword let's say keyword analysis, not just difficulty but analysis. Then I'm gonna say keyword difficulty. So this input parameter will receive the data from this LLM prompt component, and then this we're gonna call this keyword relevant keywords, and then this one I'm gonna say relevant questions. Okay, now I'm gonna connect the relevant keywords from this JSON filter to this LLM prompt to the relevant keywords input parameter. Then the other one for the related questions that we're extracting using this JSON filter, we're gonna connect this custom output to the relevant questions input parameter here. Okay, now let's work on the prompt here. We're using an echo. So what I'm gonna do here is just build the JSON structure. Alright, so I'm gonna call this analysis, and then I'm gonna create an array. Okay, so for the first array, I'm gonna I'm gonna use the keyword difficulty data variable here, because this is already a JSON object. So this array will contain JSON objects, 3 JSON objects. Alright, one from the keyword difficulty data, one for the relevant keywords, and then one for the relevant questions. Okay, I'm gonna do it this way. Now, so I'm gonna manually create the JSON object for the relevant keywords, because it has a different structure. Then I'm gonna do this, add a comma here. Oops, I'm gonna, this one I'm gonna say relevant questions, and then in here I'm gonna add relevant questions. Okay, now I'm gonna close the array, and then the JSON object. Alright, so now we're capturing the keyword difficulty data here, the relevant keywords, and the relevant questions. Alright, I'm gonna save this. Okay, and this. Okay. Okay. So now this is my structure. I'm gonna use the chat embodiment. So I need to set up my agent behavior here. Again, I already created or engineered a prompt earlier. So I've already tested this one. So the first instruction says that it must always call the analyze keyword endpoint. Alright. For any request to check a keyword, for difficulty, get related questions, or get relevant keywords. So for any of these 3 requests here, it will only call onto this endpoint. Then I wanted to decline any request not related to, you know, to the first, I'm gonna edit this, first task. Then I wanted to return the output as is. Then I added more specific instruction that it must always return the complete list of the top 20 ranking pages, top 20 relevant keywords, and the top 20 related questions as is. I don't want it to cut the list into 10 whatsoever. Now I'm gonna save this, Okay, and then I'm gonna enable debug. I'm gonna okay, let's just make sure that everything is alright. Now, okay, then let's say analyze the keyword AI agent. Alright, now it's calling onto this function here. I'm just gonna run this. Let's wait for a while. We're now filtering the output from this API call and then doing the initial keyword analysis here. Okay. Okay. Now it's listing down the top 10 ranking pages. And then the top 20 relevant keywords. See if it's gonna follow my instruction to include all 20. Okay. Then the top 20 related questions. Okay, so for this one, I'm not sure why it only lists 20, but 17. But I'm not sure, maybe we only have 17 related questions. That's why it listed 17 instead of 20. But let's do a quick check. So keyword difficulty, let's check. Okay, so it's 31. Then for the top 10, I want to check. Okay, what is an AI agent? AI, alright, so it does. Then what are AI? Okay, so this is correct. Then keyword, yeah, we have the keyword AI agent here. Now let's take a look at the top 20 relevant keywords. Let's just take a look at this. So we have the AI agent. Yeah, it's hard. So it also, yeah, it tells you that it's hard to rank for. This is the first keyword, by the way. So it's more than 1,000 the volume label. Then we have Vertex AI Agent Builder, AI Agent Assist. What is an AI agent? Okay, this also provided the correct data. This is just to make sure that the agent, the chat embodiment here is not hallucinating, okay? Or is not interpreting the data supplied or taken from the API calls. So keyword, okay, what is an AI agent? What is AI agent? How to build, okay. Easy, medium, easy. Alright. So it's the same as you can see. Alright. It's the same. And now you have an agent that does keyword research for you. Alright. So yeah, now you can use this agent to do a comprehensive keyword research. Search for a keyword difficulty, get the top 10 ranking pages for it. look for the relevant keywords and related questions that you can use in your content later on. Again, truly helpful if you're working on content strategy and content creation. All right. Now, I think that's a wrap. I hope this lesson help you create a really good SEO web researcher. In our future sessions, we will extend the capability of this agent more. Okay, and that's it. Thank you, and I'll see you again on our next session. Have a great day.